I am showing 40 images for the Festival America 2016. This is the 8th edition of this festival. I am showing on these 40 panels on this square, and I'm trying to create like a universe in which people can come and discover the USA as I have been experiencing them and as I have been seeing them. So it's not about documenting the USA, it's not about trying to bring information, it's trying through images that have a story to bring some emotions, and through that to try to understand what is constructing the American ideals, what is constructing the American imagination, and what keeps people going every day in a life that is sometimes great, but very often very hard. And I want to show things from several places in the USA, from the West, and these images of a Monument Valley, but to put them together and in opposition, but also more in conjunction with images of the US like Manhattan, to show the city and to show the countryside, to show the Great West, and to show things that are much more modern. And all this because in all these pictures we see sometimes the same thing, and we are trying to think. And I'm not trying to explain the USA. I'm just trying to, with brushstrokes and short stories, to give ideas about all that builds the USA and what makes me love the USA many times. Sometimes frustrates me, but always I'm captivated by that.
I love the kind of body positivity of it, and the polka dot headband and the little shoes and the old roller skates, and the kind of pinup model and the curvy figures and the headbands. There's something very, very old-fashioned about it, and yet extremely American at the same time. And the spectators, and it makes you think of summer and waving little flags and having parades. And then those old rickety wooden roller coasters, which I grew up riding on, which are terrifying. And then the old TV antenna that you don't really have anymore. They stopped using those in like the early 80s, so there's something very deeply nostalgic about it in a way I just loved.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I really liked the exhibition. I really liked it, and I lived in the US, so I totally saw everything. Like I really recognized the country, and I really love Robert Frank, and so I saw kind of an inspiration or something. I don't know if
well, whenever you do a show about the US, Robert Frank kind of set the standard and he set the bar to start with. I mean, his exhibition was so important, and it shaped so much of the photography about looking for another country, looking for space, and especially for the US. So I have to say that when I started thinking about the show, I was like, oh my God, there was Robert Frank. What can I do? And I worked also with a master when I showed him my selection and the sequencing about is it interesting? What's different in what I'm showing about the US? Why do you think it will interest people around? I mean, there was Robert Frank, there are so many people who do it. What's different? And he said, well, it's personal. It's your personal view, and you have a lot of intimacy, and your intimacy is very different, and it talks about you, and it talks about your view of the US. And in that respect, it's very different. It's not that you can talk about the technicality where it's different. I think that when you see Robert Frank pictures, he looks at the people and he witnesses them, and he has a distance to them, and he's really seeing the land in front of him. I have interacted with many of my subjects. I talked to them, or I had some type of interaction, so I've been very involved. I use close lens also, so I'm close to them, and so I think that for me, I have. I think that the intimacy that he has and the intimacy I have a little bit of a different approach. But of course, I have no pretension to be as, of course, you never know how you're getting inspired by this work. But it's pervasive through everything you do about the US, of course.
Well, thank you. It was very, very interesting.
Thanks a lot.
America, c'est un événement qui a lieu tous les 2 ans, ici même à Vincennes. qui est un lieu de rencontre et d'échange avec nos amis nord-américains, des écrivains bien sûr, qui sont plus d'une soixantaine cette année, mais aussi des musiciens, des cinéastes, des photographes, qui viennent échanger tout ce que nous avons en commun avec ce continent nord-américain, mais aussi nos différences, nous interroger et s'interroger eux-mêmes dans le monde sur lequel nous vivons.